Welcome to GlobeTeller. Today we're going to one of the most mysterious and often misunderstood corners of the world, into the lives of uncontacted tribes. These are people who live without phones, roads, or electricity, not because they can't, but because they choose not to. Their way of life is ancient, their isolation is intentional, and today we'll explore who they are, where they're hiding, and why they've remained unreachable in a world that's mapped nearly every inch of land. Uncontacted tribes are indigenous peoples who have no sustained contact with the outside world. Most of them are aware that modern civilization exists, but they avoid it. Estimates suggest there are between 100 and 200 such groups globally, totaling around 10,000 individuals. But because they are intentionally hidden, and often mobile, we may never know the true number. The Amazon basin holds the greatest concentration of uncontacted tribes. In Brazil, there are over 80 isolated indigenous groups, with the Javari Valley alone hosting at least 19 of them. These tribes include the Pirapcura, the Curubo, the Flecheros, and the Kawahiva, many of whom have been spotted only via aerial footage or brief undocumented contact. One example, the Awa people in northeastern Brazil. About 350 remain, but only around 100 are believed to be completely uncontacted. Unfortunately, their territory is under serious threat. Over 30% has been deforested. Logging, ranching and mining push deeper every year, shrinking the safe zones where tribes like the Awa can live undisturbed. Another key group is the Pirapcura. Only 3 known survivors remain after violent encounters in the 1980s. Their territory is protected by law, but enforcement is weak. Illegal loggers and land grabbers continue to threaten their existence. In 2023, Brazilian courts narrowly upheld protections for the Pirapcura Reserve after years of legal challenges by commercial interests. In Peru, the Mashco-Piro have been spotted near rivers and logging roads in the Madre de Dios region. Once strictly isolated, this group has recently been involved in several tense and sometimes violent interactions with outsiders, including a reported clash with loggers in 2024. And then, far from the jungles of South America, we find one of the most famous and most hostile uncontacted tribes on Earth. The Sentinelese, who inhabit North Sentinel Island in the Indian Ocean. They number somewhere between 50 and 200 people, although some sources estimate as few as 15 and others as many as 500. In 2006, they killed 2 fishermen who drifted ashore. In 2018, they killed an American missionary who attempted to reach them. India has declared the island off-limits, enforcing a 5 nautical mile exclusion zone to protect both the Sentinelese and those who might accidentally approach. The danger of contact is not just cultural or political, it's biological. Many uncontacted groups have no immunity to common diseases like the flu, measles, or the common cold. After first contact, death rates can be catastrophic. In the 1970s, the Panara tribe in Brazil lost over 50% of its population to disease within just a few years. Elsewhere in the world, small, isolated tribes exist in Papua New Guinea, where dense forests and rugged mountains have preserved dozens of unique languages and lifeways. The Yaifo people are one example, first documented in 1988 and then vanished for decades. In Paraguay, the Totobiegosode, a subgroup of the Ayoreo people, are the last uncontacted indigenous group in South America outside the Amazon. They live in the Gran Chaco forest, a dry, thorny wilderness that's now under attack from cattle ranchers and soybean farms. These tribes aren't unaware of the outside world. In fact, many have rejected contact because of violent or traumatic first impressions. Some tribes have oral histories about relatives killed by outsiders or elders who fell sick after accepting tools or food. Many choose to remain isolated because it is the safest option for survival. Governments and NGOs around the world now face a major ethical dilemma. How do you protect people who do not want to be part of your system? In Brazil, the agency FUNAI enforces a no-contact policy and monitors isolated peoples using drones, patrols, and satellite imagery. In 2024, Brazil's Supreme Court ruled that the Kawahiva territory must be demarcated and legally secured by the end of 2025. But enforcement is a different matter entirely. Illegal activity continues in these territories, often without consequences for those responsible. Furthermore, In India, the laws around North Sentinel Island are among the strictest in the world. No outsider has legally set foot on the island in over 20 years. The Indian government has made it clear. The best way to protect the Sentinelese is to leave them alone. Organizations like Survival International advocate for this approach. No forced contact, no evangelism, no pressure, just land rights, legal protection, and respectful distance. Because when these tribes are left alone, they thrive. They grow their own food, craft tools from the forest, and pass down traditions that have lasted for centuries. But when outsiders intervene, whether with bulldozers, missionaries, or cameras, the results are often tragic. And yet, in a world of satellites, smartphones, and global surveillance, these tribes have managed to remain hidden. So the next time you look at a map and think the world is fully explored, remember this. There are still entire nations of people who exist just out of reach, watching, listening, moving deeper into the forest when they sense danger, choosing silence over contact, and surviving as they always have on their own terms. They are not lost, they are not forgotten, they are simply unreachable. And maybe that's exactly how they want it. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves global history. Drop a comment below. What do you think? Should we protect these tribes by leaving them alone or try to help them adapt to the modern world? Thanks for watching. This is GlobeTeller, and we'll see you next time.